Hi, I'm Jo.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm Merete.
And we're the partners at Heath Equine veterinary practice.
So one of the important things about our practice is that we are purely ambulatory. So this means that we do everything on yard, and that's the basis of our practice. So we wanted to employ and have done an experienced team of vets that are happy to do kind of specialised tasks, but on yard. And this means that we can offer clients the service that they would get in a clinic, but on their yard, which we feel there's a real niche for. As long as you've got experienced vets and the right kit, it's something that's very easily done. And we've certainly found that clients and horses have embraced this because they're in their own environment. We also really want to support our local community, so we all live in the area, and supporting everyone's horses, their livelihoods, is really important to us.
So we cover race yards, we also do sport horses and the local hairy ponies and donkeys, so a real range of horses in the area.
So initially, when we set up the practice, one of our first purchases was the Airway scope, and we used that an awful lot to accommodate the racing work that we do. So we do a large amount of upper airway scopes. Very quickly, we then went on to buy the Gastro as well. The benefit of us being a small practice was that the multifunctionality of the screen meant that we could use it with both scopes, so we didn't have to buy like kind of multiple pieces of kit. So that was great. As we've grown, we've become quite a lot more busy, and so we've actually recently bought a further screen, which means that we can use the gastroscope and the endoscope at the same time. We were just getting quite a few clashes, so we have now invested in a further screen. But the kind of functionality was really, really useful initially, that we could use the screen on both of our scopes. We have also purchased the shockwave from MED Equus machine, which is essential because we do such a large amount of orthopaedic and shockwave. So the gastroscope and the endoscope are invaluable to our practice day to day. We use them every single day. The reliability is just incredibly reassuring, and the mobile nature of them and the ease of cleaning has been kind of life-changing for us as an ambulatory practice. So not only that, but the picture quality and the screen for use when we're on yards with clients is brilliant. So the fact that they get to have a look at that picture and see how clear it is, and providing a horse-side diagnosis immediately is just brilliant. One of the other benefits of the MEDView scopes is, along with the really beautiful picture, is the fact that we can record everything. So that's really invaluable for insurance purposes, for horse sales, just for follow-up, so for clients to be able to compare how their horses responded to treatment. So that's really, really helpful. We use that all the time. We can then kind of send on those images either by email or on our phones. The other benefit that we found of this kit and of us being an ambulatory practice is that we're doing this in their own environment, so they're not as nervous or worried. So the whole process tends to be a lot calmer and quicker because of that, both for the horse, and also it's just a nicer experience for the owner. They're definitely less stressed than if you've got to take them into a clinic and involve transporting them. So the service provided by MED Equus is invaluable, and from every aspect really. Michael and Martin are always on the end of the phone, and we do contact them if we've got any worries or concerns, and they always respond. They know the kit inside out, which means that they can offer us fairly speedy practical advice even if they're not with us. So that's been brilliant, just with us getting to know the kit. Also, we've had plenty of training sessions, so hands-on training for all of our vets to get used to the kit, which have been invaluable. The other thing that has been really fantastic is that if there are any concerns with the kit and we need to get a loan piece of equipment, then that is provided immediately, which means that our service to our clients never falters. So a week at Heath Equine practice for a vet is fairly varied. We've currently got 5 vets, and we've all got our different interests and specialities. We have routine racing visits, which happen every single day, and then alongside that we have all our private client work and sports horse work. So we have a large amount of orthopaedic work, but also a large amount of medicine cases. We do an awful lot of scoping, hence why all of this kit's been essential. And obviously, in between all of that, there are the emergencies that we have to attend to. So the MED Equus pieces of kits, like I've said before, we use every single day, and they fit into our practice life very, very easily. All of the kit is contained in really nice, small, compact boxes that fit into all of our vehicles. They're not heavy. We can move them around really easily. The cleaning is kind of just revelationary for us. The fact that you haven't got to submerge a scope means that we can clean in between horses really quickly on yard. And just the fact that we know it's going to work, so we know that we're going to go onto a yard, be able to do a job, get nice images, and that we have faith in that. It really is very reliable. So the vast majority of my work tends to be orthopaedic and lameness work primarily, but I do really enjoy doing medicine cases as well, and particularly gastroscopy, and that is because the equipment is really lovely to use. When we first purchased the kit, both myself and Kathy, the original founders of Heath, along with Jo, were a little bit apprehensive because we were used to the a traditional driving system, which was the wheel type of system. But this is really intuitive, and actually I now find this much easier to use than a traditional system. I think it's far more accurate, and it's a joy to use and is very straightforward, even if you're not doing gastroscopy all of the time. The whole experience of using these gastroscopes is really enjoyable. They're really easy to set up. It's really quick to set them up, which means that actually the experience for horses and clients is kind of much nicer. It's less stressful for them. I find scoping is a quicker experience with this scope, so I can get to the pylorus really quickly, visualise all of the glandular mucosa that I need to, and then we're effectively done, and the horse hasn't had a stressful experience. The feedback from owners is also really nice, so I think involving them in the process, getting them to have a look at the screen is lovely, so they can appreciate actually whether their horse has got a positive diagnosis or not and how severe it is, and that's had a lot of really positive feedback from our clients. The process of setting up the scope is really straightforward and quick, and we've had loads of client feedback that it's just really lovely to see what's going on. So here you can see how quickly I've gone straight to the pylorus. There's a beautiful picture there. Clients can appreciate whether or not their horse has got a positive diagnosis or not, and they can kind of see how severe the ulcers are. It's really quick to set the scope up and then to use it, so I find that we get to the pylorus far more rapidly than I used to. That might just be from experience, but I think that this scope does lend itself to ease of use. Setting it up is really quick, so when we get to the yard we're very quickly scoping, so horses that have been starved aren't then waiting for very much longer. The actual scope process is quick and just makes it just a much less stressful experience for both the horse and the owner. And yeah, I can also just save images, so if there's anything I'd like to take a picture of, I can just save it on the handset of the scope. And the same applies for videos, which we can then compare at a later date.
So for us, as a startup, and we are, I guess, largely ambulatory still, it was really important for us to have very good equipment, very high quality because of the level of work that we're doing, but also because we wanted to provide the best service for our clients. The equipment and the image quality, oh thanks Jo, the equipment and the image quality, as you can see, is really easy to use, easy to clean, and it's been a real hit with our clients that they've been able to appreciate a horse-side diagnosis at the same time as the visit itself. And then I guess also because we have our team's expanded, we wanted to employ really good vets, and with that comes an expectation that you're going to have really good equipment for those vets to work with. I guess from our point of view with the equipment, we really emphasise the fact that we can provide a high quality horse-side diagnosis, but also that it's a really efficient diagnosis. So for example, the equipment is then really easy to transport around. It's robust. It takes less than probably 2 minutes to set up. And then if you, for example, have got a horse that needs to run or has a query over having an airway problem, you can probably get an answer for that trainer within 5 minutes of getting your scope out of the car. And for us, that's really important. And I think it is also a big selling point that we can provide that service. So again, it's service provision, which is absolutely key for our business. We would highly recommend MED Equus as a company to work alongside. For sure, the equipment is, the standard of equipment is second to none. Really, really reliable company, and always supportive on the end of the phone if we need to ask even the very basic of questions sometimes whenever you're busy and it hasn't come to your mind. Absolutely, we would recommend MED Equus. We started our practice with one respiratory endoscope and then the screen here, and then we basically just bolted onto that the gastroscope, and since then we've actually bought a second screen because of the requirement of having two completely individual sets of kit. The compatibility between the two has been absolutely superb, and again it just comes back to the quality of the equipment itself. It's really been very easy to use, very easy to train vets to use, and even in situations where potentially a newer vet is using the equipment, you guys are always at the end of the phone if anyone needs anything, so it's just a simple phone call and then we can problem solve again horse side and still get still achieve our kind of client service and horse-side diagnosis like we always aim to.
Okay, so we, I think, would all highly recommend MED Equus. The whole process from getting in touch with the company, purchasing equipment, and the kind of after-sales care has been second to none. There's always someone at the end of the phone. The support that we get is fantastic, and it just is a great company to work with.
It's really, really easy for us to recommend MED Equus. The kit speaks for itself as soon as you've tried it, and the service and support that we get from the team is absolutely second to none, and is the benchmark that we use for everyone else, and it's pretty hard to beat, to be honest.